Racewear Bone Stock feature tonight. It's brought to you tonight by the good folks from Roots Gas Bar, as it is Roots Gas Bar night here at the track. On the pole will be the 08 of Pat Farrell. Pat Farrell in the 08 driving his car tonight for OK Tire Owen Sound, along with Polaris spray foam insulation and stickers and scuffs. Number 1, John Vandyk for the Vinota home team, along with good folks at Terry's Trailer Service and Long's Automotive. Number 12, that is Chance Rogers driving for All-Star Performance. 55 out of Muskoka is Brandon Steele. 57 is Savannah Finley. Savannah in that 57 car driving for Richard's Auto Service in Owen Sound, SSG Gloves, Hilltop Dentistry, and Bruce Peninsula Carpentry. Back through the field we go. They're going to keep this one rolling. We'll go through it. Brady Cox is in the 81/24. 92 is Kyle Neumeister. Number 30 is Joe Lawrence, followed by 22, Kris Lawrence. 16 in 10th position, Alex Stewart. Starting 11th, 48, Dustin Johnson. Going back through the field, number 80 is Mike Brown. Starting 13th, the 82 is Matt Campbell. 82 actually is Graydon Bunn in the Matt Campbell car. Mike Hastings will start 14th and 64. Starting 15th and 24 of Cam Thompson. Starting 16th to 41 of James Houghton. Starting 17th to 50 of Wade Thorne. Starting in 18th position, Dave Middleton in the 18, and starting 19th, the 14 of Glenn Schmidt. These are the Epic Racewear Bone Stocks here at Sauble Speedway. White flag is out. Next time by, we'll be racing. 19 cars to take the green flag. Starting positions tonight determined by their finishing order in their heats. Looking for the green flag this time by the Epic Racewear Bone Stocks. Green is out and we're racing. Off and racing with the 08 of Pat Farrell and the 1 of John Vandyk up front. In second, we got the 55 on the move right now. The 55 car on the racetrack is Brandon Steele. Brandon Steele on the inside of the 1 of John Vandyk. Steele in the 55, Vandyk in the 1, Pat Farrell in the 08. Then we've got the number 12 of Chance Rogers. Number 81 is Brady Cox, followed by 16 of Alex Stewart. 57 is Savannah Finley, and number 22 is Kris Lawrence. But at the front right now, your leader is the 55 of Brandon Steele. Then Vandyk, followed by Pat Farrell, number 12 of Chance Rogers, and 81 of Brady Cox. Kris Lawrence is next in the 22, Alex Stewart alongside Lawrence in the 16, Savannah Finley in the 57. Then we have got the 30 of Joe Lawrence and 92 of Kyle Neumeister. 41 is James Houghton and number 48 Dustin Johnson. 80 is Mike Brown, followed by the 24 of Cam Thompson, the 14 of Glenn Schmidt, 50 of Wade Thorne, 18 Dave Middleton, 64 Mike Hastings, and number 82 of Matt Campbell. Down the back chute they go. Number 1 out front and leading John Vandyk. Vandyk in the 1 car, trying to hold off the 55 of Brandon Steele. It is Vandyk. Then we've got the 55 of Steele and the 08 Farrell. Number 12 of Chance Rogers. Going back, number 22 is Kris Lawrence. Then the number 16 of Alex Stewart and 81 Brady Cox. A lot on the line tonight for Boss of the Beach, John Vandyk was the boss of the beach a couple of years ago in the number 1 car. We'll try and do that again tonight. 7 laps in. It is Vandyk out front. In second, 55, Brandon Steele. In third, we have got the 08 car of Pat Farrell and 22 Kris Lawrence. That car was the feature-winning car last night, but driven by Joe Lawrence. Joe Lawrence tonight is in the 30 car. Up front, John Vandyk has got a lead right now on 55 of Brandon Steele. Steele having a battle with the 08 Pat Farrell, the defending champion here at Sauble Speedway. Vandyk puts a lap on the number 64 of Mike Hastings. Steele in second. The 08 Farrell in third. Then 22 Kris Lawrence and number 12 of Chance Rogers. Going back, we've got 16 Alex Stewart. Then the 30 of Joe Lawrence, Brady Cox in 81, James Houghton in 41, and Savannah Finley in 57. Dave Middleton's in car number 18. Dustin Johnson is there in that number 48. 24, Cam Thompson, 92. Of Kyle Newmeister, 50, Wade Thorne, and number 80, Mike Brown, followed by Glenn Schmidt at 14. Race leader continues to be 13 down. We got 12 laps to go. It is the race leader right now down the back chute. It is number 1, John Vandyk. Vandyk in 1. In second, 55 of Brandon Steele. In third spot, it is the 08 Pat Farrell, followed by Kris Lawrence. Then a battle for the next position here. We got 3 wide between the 30 car of Joe Lawrence, the number 12 car hanging in there, Chance Rogers, and Alex Stewart in the 16. A real battle, 15 laps in. John Vandyk puts a lap on Dave Middleton. Then we have got the 55 of Brandon Steele, Pat Farrell in the 08, and number 22, Kris Lawrence. Kris Lawrence trying to get by Farrell, and he may have him here. Farrell drops a position because Kris Lawrence gets by on the inside. And Lawrence now is up to third, dropping Farrell back to fourth. Race leader number 1, John Vandyk. And he has got lap cars between himself and the second place car, the 55 of Brandon Steele. So it is the number 1 of Vandyk, the 55 of Brandon Steele, the 22 of Kris Lawrence, followed by Pat Farrell, Joe Lawrence, Alex Stewart, and Brady Cox. 19 laps complete. Race leader number 1, John Vandyk. Coming up halfway, John Vandyk. It'll be 20 down, 20 to go for John Vandyk. Halfway. We have lost the 92 of Kyle Newmeister. Newmeister off to the pits. John Vandyk leads it. In second, we go back to the 55 of Brandon Steele. Then it is Kris Lawrence in 22, Pat Farrell in 08. In fifth, it's Joe Lawrence. In sixth, Alex Stewart. In seventh, Brady Cox, followed by James Houghton, Chance Rogers, and Savannah Finley. But up front, John Vandyk is putting on a clinic in this one, in the Bionic Bunny. Vandyk in the 1 car. Then 55, Brandon Steele. In third, Kris Lawrence in the 22. Then Pat Farrell in the 08 and Joe Lawrence in the 30. One driver that certainly does not want to see problems. Problems in the corner. Savannah Finley is one of the cars tangled up. And the other looks like the 24 car. The 24 car, the other car that is Cam Thompson. Okay, caution on the track, and John Vandyk certainly didn't want to see this. He had built up a tremendous lead. The Epic Racewear Bone Stocks tonight here at Sauble Speedway. Brought to you tonight by Roots Gas Bar. It's Roots Gas Bar night here at the Speedway. So the Epic Racewear Bone Stocks leader is number 1, John Vandyk. Running second, Brandon Steele in the 55. Running third, Kris Lawrence in the 22. Running fourth, Pat Farrell in the 08. Running fifth, the 30 of Joe Lawrence. Running sixth, 16, Alex Stewart. Running seventh, 81, Brady Cox. Running eighth, the 41, James Houghton. Running ninth, the 12 of Chance Rogers. Running 10th, the 50 of Wade Thorne. Running 11th was the 48, Dustin Johnson. 12th to 14 of Glenn Schmidt. Savannah Finley was running in 13th before this mishap. Then Cam Thompson in the number 24, Mike Brown in the 80 15th, Dave Middleton running 16th in the 18, Mike Hastings running 17th in the 64 car, Kyle Neumeister and Graydon Bunn, both are off the track. So it looks like everybody is in position. The white flag is going to come out this time by. In one lap we should be racing. But John Vandyk has been very strong in that one car. John won the feature here at Sauble Speedway last Saturday night, his first win of the year. So Vandyk, Brandon Steele, Kris Lawrence, Pat Farrell, Joe Lawrence, Alex Stewart, Brady Cox, James Houghton, Chance Rogers, looking for the green flag. Coming off a Ford down the front, 18 to go. We are racing. Off and racing with the 1 of John Vandyk out front in second. We've got the 22 starting to make its move now. 55 gets by of Brandon Steele. The 22, Kris Lawrence right there. All trying to chase down John Vandyk in that number 1. It's Vandyk in 1. In second spot, we have got the 55 of Brandon Steele. 22, Kris Lawrence in third. His brother, the 30 of Joe Lawrence, last night's feature winner. 08, Pat Farrell, 81, Brady Cox, and number 12, Chance Rogers. Very close racing, and Brady Cox got into James Houghton and narrowly avoided a big crash, but James Houghton, that was costly. He falls way back. 15 laps to go for number 1, John Vandyk. Then we've got the Lawrence brothers, the 30 of Joe Lawrence, the 22 of Kris Lawrence, and the 55 of Brandon Steele. Then it is the 08 of Pat Farrell, the 12 of Chance Rogers, 16 Alex Stewart, and 81 of Brady Cox. There'll be 13 laps to go this time by for car number 1, John Vandyk. In second, the 30 car of Joe Lawrence. Then 55 of Brandon Steele. Then we got Pat Farrell now getting by the 08 car, getting by the 22. So Pat Farrell goes ahead of Kris Lawrence. Kris Lawrence now falls backwards, and Kris falls to 5th place. He was in second just a few laps ago. So number 1, John Vandyk, continues to lead it with 11 laps to go. 11 to go for the 1 car of John Vandyk. It's Vandyk out front in second. Number 30 of Joe Lawrence in third. 55 of Brandon Steele, followed by 08 Pat Farrell and number 22, Kris Lawrence. Going back, the 12 is Chance Rogers. In 7th position, the 16, Alex Stewart, followed by Brady Cox, Dustin Johnson, and Wade Thorne. Number 1, John Vandyk, is going to have company very quickly here as the number 30 of Joe Lawrence has got very close with 9 laps to go. 9 remaining. And Vandyk's lead is evaporating because Joe Lawrence is right there. They put a lap on Mike Hastings in the 64. It is John Vandyk still holding down top spot, but for how long we don't know. Vandyk out front. Joe Lawrence in second. Then we've got Kris Lawrence now in third, followed by 54 of Brandon Steele and 08 Pat Farrell. Now, Lawrence starting to put the pressure on John Vandyk. Down to 7 to go. John Vandyk leads it. Joe Lawrence in second spot. And in third spot, we got the 22 of Kris Lawrence and the 55, Brandon Steele. John Vandyk is making that car very wide. It is Vandyk in the 1. Joe Lawrence in the 30. He's going to look to the inside. And Vandyk comes down, and he continues to lead it with 5 to go. But he just left the door open. And Joe Lawrence has got to the inside. Lawrence on the inside now. It is John Vandyk, Joe Lawrence. Then we have got Kris Lawrence and Brandon Steele. But this time by, it'll be Joe Lawrence that is your leader with 4 laps to go. So Joe Lawrence takes over top spot. John Vandyk falls to second. In third, it is Kris Lawrence, followed by 55 of Brandon Steele. And then we have got the 12 of Chance Rogers and the 08 Pat Farrell. So John Vandyk now in second spot. We're coming up on 2.5 laps to go. Joe Lawrence in 30, John Vandyk in 1, and Kris Lawrence in the 22. 2 to go. 2 laps remaining. It is Joe Lawrence, John Vandyk, Kris Lawrence, Brandon Steele, Chance Rogers, Pat Farrell, and Brady Cox. White flag is out, 1 to go for Joe Lawrence. John Vandyk in second. In third spot, we got Kris Lawrence. In fourth, Brandon Steele. Down the back straightaway. Into 3. Out of 4. Down the front for the checkered flag. It is the 30 of Joe Lawrence that wins it. John Vandyk for second. For third, it'll be Kris Lawrence, followed by Brandon Steele, Chance Rogers, Pat Farrell, Brady Cox, Alex Stewart, James Houghton, the 48 of Dustin Johnson, followed by Wade Thorne, the 14 of Glenn Schmidt. But your winner tonight is the number 30 of Joe Lawrence. So we have a new boss of the beach, and it is Joe Lawrence. So 2 nights in a row for this driver out of London, Ontario. The former APC champion, and here he is, folks. Let's hear it for Joe Lawrence. Here we go, they climb the fence. Joe Lawrence and the captain, Kris Lawrence. Kris finishing in third. The two brothers have built quite a fleet of race cars. Come on over here, Joe. So you're taking all the money this weekend back to London. How does it feel?
Feels really good. Just a lot of fun racing at this track. It's I don't get to come here often. The APC series comes here twice, and then try to come here when we can. It's just a fun track, but a little bit of a trek from London, but nonetheless, it's worth it every time.
Who would you like to thank, Joe?
Well, I definitely got to thank Kris and Sarah. Obviously, same result tonight, but a different car. So Kris is more than happy to put me in whatever I feel like is going to get the job done some nights. So I got to appreciate them. Obviously, my mom and Mike, the daughter, are here. They help take care of her when I'm inside the car. So that's always helpful. And then just everyone on the cars and helping support BT Racing. There's a long list of them, so it's awesome to see.
Describe that battle that you had going on with John Vandyk in the one car.
That was definitely awesome. It's fun to race guys as clean and hard as he did tonight, and you know, it's hard to have those kind of battles sometimes. So it's nice to actually have them and enjoy a hard fought battle like that. Clean, both cars are good. And it just puts a good show on for all the fans that decide to come out and watch us do what we love.
So, the Boss of the Beach has been going on for a few years. How does it feel tonight to be the Boss of the Beach?
It feels awesome to finally check that one off. It's I honestly wasn't even thinking about it today. That I don't think I've ever done that yet. So it's definitely going to feel good driving home tonight.
Very good. There you have it. The new Boss of the Beach for the Epic Racewear Bone Stocks, Joe Lawrence.